Okay, guys, welcome here to Town Hall Heroes. I am Solid Jake, joined by a lot of nerds. There's actually four other nerds with me. We've got Zolia, we've got Kubi, we've got KO, we've got Sham2. I don't know the order in which we are seated, so we're going to start with you, KO. What is up, my
Oh
friend?
man, I'm honored. Well, it's good to be here. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy week. I feel like this whole week, actually, I've just been playing like catch up though, because like so much has been happening, and we were playing this really important big tournament, and that was like all that was on our minds in the midst of the craziness of release and all that. So right now, I'm kind of lost in like the mess of everything that's happening, trying to catch up, learn everything, but doing good, doing really good now that we won WCA. So
Well, we'll get to that in just a little bit. But this is your first time on the show, so why don't you actually tell us a little bit about your background in gaming? Like, where do you come from?
okay, yeah. So I originally come from Smite. That was like my first really like important esports experience, I'd say. I played for Cognitive and a couple other teams. I played for like Dig for a while, and I got to go to a couple lands, and I did that. And yeah, Smite was a really cool experience, but I ended up taking a break from that for a while. And during that time, the HOTS Alpha started, so I managed to get into that, started playing that, loved it, and it pretty much took over my life. And you know, things have been going well ever since. Uh, Original SMG founding member. Now still playing assassin. Now when we're on Tempo Storm here, so yeah.
All right, Kevo, what's new with you?
Not a ton. Went to a wedding this weekend, and then immediately got back from the wedding and went off to I think it might be Giants concert. So I didn't actually get to sit around and play any heroes at all this weekend. And then last night I had to go help a friend move or girlfriend move, and just a lot of stuff going on. So I haven't actually gotten to sit down and play a ton of heroes. So I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm going to be playing late on into the night. Other than that, though, pretty excited about the release. Got a lot of cool stuff coming up. That's about it for me.
All right, Kubis.
Kubis is holding down Kubi's castle. It's Kubi's cat in the Kubi chair. Right, cat? Yeah, all right. It's been a busy week, like Kev was saying. Lots to watch. Been actually streaming a good bit more, especially Johanna last night was a lot of fun diving into the hero. Let's see. Did a little bit of casting for Go 4 over the weekend with Jester. Watched WCA, or attempted. The timing was a little bit unfortunate for me to watch it, but I got it in there, and then I think that's about it. Yeah, it's been fairly quiet, but things are about to get a good bit busier. I could say that.
Oh,
Good
yes.
bit busier.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. Zoloff. I expect this
Hello.
to be insufferable.
Yeah. Brace yourselves.
I mean, we'll get to it later, but WCA was a lot of fun. I got to cast it, which we'll again talk about later. I guess this will be the official announcement. Unless something goes wrong, this Friday, the Tempo Storm side of the website that will have our heroes guides will be launched. We'll have a lot of guides from the players up on that as well, and people will be able to submit their own guides, but there will be featured guides which will be from our players and other approved people as well. But the website looks sick. It's 10 times better. No, 100 times better than
Whoa.
Heroes Fire or any other website.
Whoa! Bold
100
statements,
times.
boys!
That's a lot of
It
times.
is smooth, and it is. You guys are gonna love it. Like,
You're gonna love the way you look.
It is
Guaranteed.
amazing. But yeah, traveling was fun. Got to hang out with Jake, and after the games, eventually got to hang out with C9. And like, despite the rivalry, good friends with all those guys, so it was fun to chill with them after the salt levels, went down a bit. But it was a fun weekend.
It was such a fun weekend.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, like you mentioned, I've been here for now over a week. The grind is real, but WCA was a blast. It was the first ever Heroes of the Storm LAN. Got to cast it with Zoloff. Ton of fun casting with him. Very high energy cast because both of us like to shout, and we did that. And I have to say, and we'll get that a little bit more, but with the player shouting in the venue.
Oh yeah, you guys weren't the
makes
only
it-
one shouting.
Yeah. It's like it hypes you up too. It hypes you up too. So it was a lot of fun. It was a really cool experience. But yeah, my stay in California keeps getting extended. It seems I was going to be leaving in a few days. Now it looks like I could be here for 3 more weeks. I don't. Yeah. It's interesting, but. All things aside, it looks like we have a ton to talk about, so we can just jump right into it. Let's start with WCA because we're coming hot off of that. And with WCA, I mean, I'm going to say this, nobody thought Tempo Storm was going to come in there in 3-0 Maelstrom. Jared, how did you feel coming into it? And to make things a little less biased, let me fix something.
Oh, okay. Now he's going to do it. We were all curious about this.
I'll wait.
Oh boy.
Jake was wearing a Tempo Storm jersey, now wearing a C9 shirt.
You changed that shirt really quickly. How did you do
Disgusting. God.
That was
Esports?
pretty
Well
impressive.
played. I don't know if you recall, were you on last week's episode, Jake? Episode 65, where Zoya claimed on air that we would 3-0 Maelstrom? Because I remember saying that
Was
on
that
there.
after I prodded you to give a better answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was.
No, to be honest, I was expecting it either to be a really close series going either way, or Maelstrom just 3-0ing us, if I'm being honest. Practice had been going well, but, when you're still adjusting to a new player, and when you're not, it's like, okay, I'm going to give this is going to come off as rude to some teams, but Maelstrom and us are on a different tier. So when we're not scrimming Maelstrom, and we're scrimming the other team, it's hard to gauge where we stand. So we really had no idea how we were doing with Zuna. It felt good, but didn't feel good enough to beat Maelstrom. We didn't know how their practice was going, and we didn't know where exactly we stood. So I was kind of felt like it would either be us losing in the stomp or a really close series where it could go either way. And if you look at the first 2 games, they were really close games. They were, that wasn't a stomp. They were very close games, so it could have gone to that, 3-2 close series. But Game 3 was kind of stompy. But it was definitely a shocker for the 3-0.
I have to agree there. I mean, looking at the games, I was thinking it was going to be either a 3-0 or a 3-1 in terms of Cloud9. And watching them, I was still somewhat at work, so I didn't get to put full attention towards the first game. But then I started seeing how the game was going. I was like, wait a minute, this is looking pretty good, but this is looking pretty even. And then as soon as the turnarounds at the end of the game, I was like, all right, they're going to get their game 1. That's it's good for them. It was a really hyped game. That was a super hyped game. Especially with Zuna going in on Kerrigan. I forget who's playing Kerrigan.
Oh,
while
yeah.
at the Gem Shrine, I was like, this is I feel like the dynamic, the unpredictability that Tempo Storm needed. Zuna just feels like he's a lot more aggressive than Tempo Storm is used to being. It almost feels like when Evil Geniuses, and I was saying, I think this to you, Zoya, when Evil Geniuses picked up Chill Attack, and they immediately started being a lot more aggressive, a lot quicker to respond to things, I feel like that's what Zuna brings to Tempo Storm. And then in the second and third games, it was just exemplified that. How have you guys been feeling with Zuna in your team?
Yeah, I mean, ever since we started playing with Zuna, we really have actually felt like a dynamic shift on the team. He's always that guy who's kind of like the wild card player who's just very much he's going to take a huge risk and throw out a silence on one person, for example. And that's either going to be a pick off that puts us way ahead because now they're down somebody for 40 seconds, or it's going to be the kind of play where the silence hits nobody and it looks really, really bad. Right. But having that wild card factor to him, it's that aggression that we need is really a good thing because and you saw it pay off in WCA in the set. On Garden, there was multiple times where him just taking the opportunity there to go for a kill on one person or whatever ends up paying off, and that pick off snowballs the game so much.
Yeah, just top lane on Jaina. He just went for it. There was a situation where
Bolted in.
yeah, it's just never in my life would I consider that he would just go onto the keep and then just kill Falstad. And well, that's exactly what he did. And Falstad was not ready. He just got blown up so quickly, and that wild cardy, just snap decision making.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's unpredictable. It's scary. It's cool.
Yeah, and not only does he have that aspect to him, but as far as somebody working with the team, his comms are really, really awesome too. And that's something that like some people don't really think about as much, I guess, is when it comes to like the team communication and the team chemistry. Some people are just naturally quieter on comms or like more in their head with their decision making. Zuna's somebody who is like very loud and vocal and like calling stuff out all the time. So it's really helped to have that. We have much more of just an active, constant, communication going on. A lot more like amping up, I'd say, like because Zuna's as I'm sure you guys noticed, he really gets hyped up, and it's a lot of fun to play with him. He's a good dude.
Yeah, it's not just that. Like, he didn't just like fill a hole on the team. He brings something to us as well. The very first day we were playing with him, he taught all of us something we didn't know about the game. That very day, he's on a level of his own. He's just so smart. He's so creative when it comes to thinking about things. He's actually just he's perfect. He's the perfect fit for this roster. Like everything that we were missing when it comes to just having that, like, because KO, Dread, and Soldier, they're more of like they're more of like a passive. They don't get super aggressive and hyped up and stuff. Even like when the games get intense. But like Zuna brings that, like kind of even a more extreme version of Arthalon, where it's like just he goes yard and doesn't stop.
Yeah, we should get you a shirt that has this big picture of Zuna on it, Zoya. Like, holy crap. Number one fan world here.
I'm pretty sure, like, all the viewers and all the listeners at WC Americas was definitely aware of the fact that Zuna gets really, really excited, because I'm pretty sure we just heard him yelling over the mics, like, constantly. And I even tweeted out, I was like, the yelling from both the teams, like, going into the casters' mics, is really making, like, that event just seem like that more hype.
It was insane.
It wasn't that way for Maelstrom, though. I'll go ahead and say that. So what we were, to be honest, so this is actually really shitty about the event. Was we were told there would be booths. We're gonna have soundproof booths, and they're gonna be facing each other, as well as the sound canceling headsets. Like I think something happened to where only one of the booths showed up, so we didn't have booths for it. And the way the stage was set up was the players are actually just right next to each other.
And Zuna was the closest to
Zuna happened
Maelstrom.
to be right next to them. So
that may or may not have been, somewhat intentional. I mean,
okay, you got to take all the advantages. No, that's smart. That's smart.
But they could very clearly hear each other, and that's a huge distraction.
So this is coming from the words of Maelstrom. I got to hang out with Maelstrom the last couple days. We went to the Red Bull headquarters and got to play a ton of games. And we even watched a little bit of the broadcast together. They were like reviewing their mistakes, and it was fun. But they explained to me, they're like, they would hear Zuna. Because Zuna's loud, so they're wearing soundproof headsets. They're trying to soundproof this, but Zuna has a booming voice, and he was getting into it, and he would just be like, "Kill Dunk, kill Dunk, kill Dunk," like at the top of his voice as loud as he could, and Dunk would just be like, "Oh crap! Like I'm screwed. Like
I'm being targeted."
Mentally, like that's like scary. It like makes you think otherwise. So,
all right, let me ask: what? Like, do they have booths there? Like on the other side, on the adjacent side of the cast?
I don't know if it was just logistically they couldn't get it all set up in time because they were doing so many shows that weekend.
Right, that's true.
And this was a much quicker setup because seriously, they were booked. Like that studio, there were so many shows out of it. They did like an Evolve, like $100,000 tournament, like right before that, which had a completely different setup, and they have to flip it all for 4 games for WCA. It's like it's crazy how busy they are.
Yeah, we were live in like 45 minutes of
Crossfire
ending.
Yeah, we had
like no prep too. Like that's the funny thing.
Just go.
I didn't get like a walkthrough of like how the show was gonna go or anything. Like I had nothing.
Nobody told Zoya to smile during the broadcast at all. He just sat there.
Who needs to smile, man? Who needs to they legit just sat us down and like, okay, you guys got 5 minutes. Do a quick intro and then we're gonna go. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Another thing that was sad about the setup was I didn't have my own observer screen. I had to use Jake's.
Yeah, you had to watch.
And
did you
from my angle, I couldn't see the
mini
minimap unless I leaned in like really weird, and Jake couldn't see the minimap at all because of like the table was blocking it.
Yeah.
Like there was moments where it was just like they're clueless about something happening, and it's like, oh, this is happening, but we can't see the minimap. Like it was really weird.
You didn't have program monitor in front of you?
No, it wasn't set up.
Too late of a setup. Like everything was so rushed.
That is rough, dude.
It was fun though. It was I think it was a really fun cast with Zoya, and like you said, having the players shouting and screaming, getting into it, amplifies our excitement. It's kind of like if you do an actual LAN where there's a crowd cheering, like you're going to get into that. And it kind of created that same kind of level of excitement because every time there was a kill, the whole team just roars on both sides. Like, it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, C9 definitely got into it too. Like, at the very beginning, like, of game 2, I think they were at that point where they're like, okay, it's on. Like, you guys are, like Zuna's going to be screaming and Tempo Storm's going to be doing this. Well, we're going to get into it too. So, like, immediately the first kill they get on Zuna, you know, they're just, like, yelling out stuff like, you know, oh, you know, feeding time, boys, and stuff like that, and just like trying to get in our heads now and like yelling. And I think it actually was a lot of fun though, because like once we kind of like broke that barrier, it was like, all right, everybody just like yell and just like have a good time with it. Because every time there would be like an engagement and kill, both teams would just be like yelling out who they're focusing, you know, like a little bit of trash talking too, you know, like after they get a kill.
Even during the draft,
it was cool.
Like you guys would trash like a pick would happen, and like one team would mock the other team, and we're like sitting. Jared and I were like giving analysis. You guys are trying to play mind games with each other, but it's like it was distracting.
Yeah, but there were times it helped out, like when the spoilers game 1 when the core was dying. I only looked up because I heard Zuna freaking out. There was a kill that happened on Garden of Terror that I only caught because Zuna was screaming. Like, just because the setup was so bad, we couldn't see anything.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember I was like sitting there, like looking at my screen very intently, being like, the boss, the boss, the boss, the boss, the boss. And then I think I audibly started saying it, and people around me at work started looking at me. I was like, the boss, the boss, the boss. And then Zoya, you picked up on it, and it was that actually. I think because like nobody was looking at it, I think it added like a little bit more hype. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That like, you know, it was kind of missing for a couple of seconds, but it like made the fight seem really like brutal, and then all of a sudden you realize it didn't matter because the made it fight still brutal because it didn't matter what was the outcome, you know, by the end of it. But it was
it's kind of funny because like, I mean, that's kind of the desired effect that we were trying to have on them, you know, is like, we'll just keep them here, like think of the fight still going and like that it's going to be a close fight. They're trying to clean us up. They're starting to get excited because they're like, oh my god, we're going to get some kills, maybe we can go like push in. So everybody's focused on that fight, you know, and that's exactly what we wanted to happen.
Yeah, it was good. It was good stuff.
And we've been saying a lot of stuff for like, you know, production side of it is a little like rough for the casters and everything, but I gotta say from the player side, it was actually really good. I mean,
that's good to hear.
Like both days, you know, heading up to it, we had computers set up for us, all ready to go.
I was nervous about that too.
Yeah, very little downtime. You know, they had everything there for us. Like, it was just as a player. I mean, like, I've been to a couple of LANs and stuff like this, and this was kind of my first time in like a studio LAN, like in this style. But I loved it. I mean, we had plenty of time to practice, more than enough time, more than enough resources. You know, everything you could want as a player. And the actual setup, like I said, when we were doing the tournament itself, yeah, it was a little like sometimes like when people would get loud, you know, it's like how you can't help it but like hear their voices through your comms. So sometimes you'd have those kind of like awkward moments where you like hear them like make a call too loud, and then you're like it like comes through your headset. But when it came to like the important stuff, you know, and the team fighting and the trash talking and the excitement of it all, it just made it more fun, honestly, as players. It was just a good time.
Yeah, and the production of it was amazing as well. The interviews you saw before the game started, those were done a day before. They edited those together, and trust me, ours needed a lot of editing, Dredd. Those were edited within 24 hours, and then all those interviews in between games, that's like some sick production. You know, and they even had a jib. In that studio, they had a jib. How sick is that? Like, the production was... God here for what we've had in Heroes, man.
So I had to interview the teams to create these videos, right? I didn't actually create them. I just asked them questions. And, you know, Cloud9, they were like, all right, so I just told them, I set them down, I'm like, we want this to be kind of trash talky. We want this to be respectful, yet you're going to crush the enemy team. That's kind of like the vibe I wanted to get out of the videos. And they were just like, yeah, because we're going to. And they were just like so confident, and just like the trash talk was real. They just, you know, then we go to Dread, And he's just like, yeah, we really respect our opponents. It's going to be great games. We think we're going to have to pull out some great strategies. I'm like, no, say you're going to dumpster them. Like, give me something here. And he just, Dredd is too respectful, man. He's too polite.
Had to, like, redo it 4 times. I was like, Dredd, no, like, do it again. We can't, that's not good enough. And eventually got to the point where Jake and I were giving suggestions on things to say because he couldn't, he couldn't force himself to say anything to me. It was hilarious.
It's pretty funny. But all things considered, though, at the end of the day, it ended up being a 3-0, one way or the other. So if you haven't watched the VOD, sorry for spoiling that much already. Actually,
no, watch the VODs anyway. There was so much going on in those games, especially like meta-wise as well. That was like game 1 was kind of weird composition-wise coming out from Cloud9, and then you guys were still able to turn around with pretty standard composition. Actually, Zoya, we were talking about this also earlier today. Rhaegar coming back into meta, you guys have been using him quite a bit. Kubi, I know, I shot that message over to you.
Yeah.
What is everybody's thought about Rhaegar currently? Just because we saw that just talking about WCA already.
So, like, Rhaegar fell off kind of a bit when it was more of a blow-up-y style / like melee-heavy style, where like Illidan was more popular and stuff, where you needed the Brightwing for the cleanse, for the polymorph, and the Emerald Wind. That's kind of shifted away a little bit to where things are less like you don't see like the Tyrael, Falstad, Tyrande blow-ups anymore. So you have like before, Rhaegar couldn't keep someone up in that. Like if you're going ham on someone with a Tyrael and Tyrande, and you have a Jane or anything with it to follow up, Rhaegar can't Ancestral in time. They're gonna die. But since it's shifted away from that a little bit, Rhaegar has a better place, and he was always a god tier healer. He's got the great heals.
Yeah.
He's got the blood for blood, which makes him super aggressive, and that fits Dredd's playstyle a lot as well. He's the most aggressive Rhaegar out there, and it makes it work. Dredd said like 2-3 weeks ago that he thinks Rhaegar's going to be back on top soon, and based off those games, I agree with him completely.
Especially Johanna. We're going to talk about her soon. But just kind of recapping everything with WCA. It did, in fact, if you're watching our show, you expect spoilers because we talk esports. That's what we talk. So congrats to Tempo. They did win 3-0. 10 grand and they go to China. But Maelstrom, they get 5 grand and they go to PAX Prime for a second chance. Congrats to both teams. It was honestly a privilege getting to know all of you guys much better. We got to hang out with Reynad a lot. Even Frodin came around. A good time. But I think a lot of people really want to hear about Johanna.
Johanna.
Now, I've only played 4 or 5 games. I was hanging out with Cloud9 at Red Bull, and I got to play Johanna yesterday. My laptop won't play it. She seems to have massive impact. Very weak, very low damage. She's nothing like a lot of the warriors that have high damage that have existed in the meta, where you see huge numbers on Stitches, huge numbers on Diablo in the past. Not at all what she is. She is straight up impossible to kill. And has a huge presence in terms of just controlling the battlefield. Talks to King Caffeine a fair bit about how he feels about her, and he thinks she's in a really good spot. But she's really the first warrior that could be in the meta that isn't also a bit of a bruiser. And Kubi, I want to hear your thoughts because I know you were streaming hard with her last night.
I was. She's a lot of fun. I basically sat down the stream. I hadn't looked at any of her talents yet. I knew what her basic abilities were because I checked out the Spotlight video that Blizzard put out, which was really good, by the way. I'm sure you guys have caught it by now if you're playing.
It was really good, yeah.
I thought they did a good job with that. And they went a little bit more in depth this time with some strategies in terms of like roughly how to play the hero. So sometimes if you don't have that general idea, you're just kind of like going like, I don't even know like what order I'm supposed to use my abilities and like what makes the most sense. That was kind of nice to have that lead in. So yeah, I just hopped on the stream and literally just went through every talent, just trying to figure out like what the builds were going to be. You know, she has some capability to do murking. She has the level 1 talent, the Knight Takes Pawn, I think it's called. It's like a 4-second stun. You get that at level 1, a 4-second stun. So I was like, all right, maybe she has some ability to murk. She has a cooldown reduction on her condemn, so she can do that. That's a lot of fun. It's still too slow. It's kind of like the Sylvanas effect. In terms of marking, so I'm not really thinking that that's going to be a big deal.
So weak.
Just damage output really isn't there. But regen, oh my god! I think the regen build, like the heal, like self-heal style build. But she has there's so many different ways to build her based on like if there are a lot of auto attackers on the other side. She just completely dumpsters auto attackers. Like the effect that she's going to have just on Illidan. And Illidan we see banned all the time. Like that may not be the case now. Maybe we'll see Johanna with Illidan, like just like the way Muradin is picked now, like in that sense, that could be a thing. Like, oh, so
Of course,
awesome.
she flat out makes Odin unviable. Somebody popped Odin against me, and I couldn't play. I was laughing. He was just sitting there, and Odin shooting me and not hurting me. I was healing. All in Odin was just going out on my Johanna, and my health was going up.
It actually like kind of almost worries me a little bit, just because like it feels like all these tanks now have so much anti-auto attack, but like very little tanks have anti-mage. You know, it's something like pretty much all the tanks in the game like well, at least like the big ones like Muradin and stuff. Muradin is just shutting down ADs everywhere. You know what I mean? Like that was originally like between Imposing and Muradin. That's pretty much why people stopped running like anything Bloodlust related. You could only have like one maybe two auto attacking carries, because if you had any more, your comp is countered with the one pick. So yeah, man, that's another tank that shuts down auto attackers, which is a little bit sad. It'd be cool to see like a tank that like applies a debuff where it like increases cooldowns or something like that to counter those more like cooldown based casters and stuff like that. I would like to see more of that, but yeah, Johanna is really scary when you're auto attacker.
Yeah, I mean, Illidan was already starting to fall out. Like so many drafts where he just goes straight through and you don't even pick him up, and that's mainly because of Muradin right now. Yeah. The auto attack reduction he gets on Thunderclap is just so Gosu, and then. Like
so
50% level 1 reverberation is just so good.
Imposing also is just one god tier. Like, he was already falling out, and then you add this warrior. It's like, well, Illidan has like multiple counters now. How often will we see him? But I don't know how I feel about her overall. I feel like she's. We'll have to see her in competitive play, but right now I just kind of feel like she's going to be like a niche pick, where you only like if like Muradin's not available or like. And you need something to deny auto attacking, because I just like everything I look about her is she's just a weaker version of Muradin. She's got the utility that Muradin has. She's got the survivability Muradin has, but she doesn't have his damage. Muradin can solo.
Is she Captain America though? No.
Can she Captain America? That is the question.
Yeah. You know what? First off, there's one thing that like I've been slowly noticing, that all of the heroes in Heroes of the Storm, or not all of them, but there is a good amount of heroes in Heroes of the Storm that clearly have so much inspiration from the Avengers.
Go on.
Oh,
Thrall's got his spinning hammer thing. Even Falstad, when the hammer comes back, it makes the same like Mjolnir like getting back into his hand thing.
You ever think the Avengers were inspired by Heroes of the Storm?
No.
There, he's onto something. Damn.
Damn.
No, everything I look at her is just, if Muradin's up, you would take him 100% of the time.
Okay, so if you look at it, if you put her side by side with Muradin and Anubarak, like so far I haven't seen any playstyles with Johanna yet that put her on the same level as Muradin and Anu. Yeah. But I think nobody's going to pick her for the damage. She's definitely one of those tanks that is going to be built into protect the X comp. So if you've got the Kael'thas on your team and you can run, she's a peel master, yeah, man. So like whenever you just need literally just peels, and I think she's going to be a tank that gets picked probably later in the draft, more of a compositional pick rather than just an all-around pick, because Muradin, you just pick him first pick and it doesn't matter. You've got huge damage, you've got stuns, you've got auto attack countered. It's crazy, but Johanna is definitely more niche.
Yeah,
I'm calling it now. Sergeant Hammer KT Johanna.
You're done.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, just throwing it out there.
No, KO and I have been arguing with Dread for like 3 weeks now that we want to start running Hammer, and he still won't let us do it. So one day,
Johanna is going to make
one
it
day.
Possible.
You'll be
just saying, Johanna is going to make it possible, because like KO was saying, like protect the whatever. That's I really think that is very viable now, especially some of the ways you can build with the cooldown reduction on Condemn. Like you can have that up a lot if that's really what you're going for, and she has an insane amount of survivability. So I really like the way that they have put together her talent tree, and it's very flexible right now. We've probably all said this about the released heroes. That's when we're like, oh, this is an amazing talent tree, and then we just start to like weed out the stuff that's useless, because in practicality this is not that good or whatever. But right now it feels good.
I have played like 7 games with her, and I've built her different every time. So
yeah, you can you can build her like just depending on what you need, right? So I'm
one thing
super excited
that I'd say too is I really like the idea of making more niche tanks and stuff too. That's like a cool thing, right? Like you've got like Johanna, where I think people right on release only judge a character based on its all around strength, right? They're going to compare it to the pound for pound best tank and like who would win 1 versus 1 type of thing. But I think the more niche tanks it's a really cool idea. So like you have Johanna, you have this like super peel tank, and then you can have like the really aggressive tank like Tyrael that just gets in there, has your immediate stun for follow up, and I like that. So I'm open to the idea. She doesn't have to be all the same as Murden. She doesn't have to be pound for pound just as strong.
KO brings up a good point, and I want to just hammer this home before. But we're starting to move into 2 bands for competitive.
Let's talk about that real quick. Blizzard.
We can't. Hold on, let me finish my.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Un momento.
Moving
I'm so close to going up.
2 bands per team, and it's gonna happen like in the middle of the band. But you'll still have 1, and then a couple picks, and then you have another band. But that's something to think about when we're talking like, oh, she's not as good as Murden. But like, okay, well maybe Murden will be banned out often, and it's like now you're talking about trying to like take all of the tanks out of the composition. Like we're gonna see a lot more crazy stuff now with the double bands.
Yeah. So we'll talk about double bands when we talk about Road to BlizzCon. We're not quite there yet. Let's just keep going on Johanna. And yeah, so Johanna overall kits though, heroics. We talked about her kit and her existence and how she might work. Which heroic do you guys think will be the more common?
Falling Sword's good in pubs. I think there will be absolutely a place for Blessed Shield. It's 6-second cooldown, and you can do some really silly stuff with it.
60.
And 60 is what he said, but we all have to consider that she does have battle momentum, and that is becoming a pretty rare talent to pick up.
So yeah, I think they will both be used. I think it's really hard to make use of Blessed Shield in pub games. So I think like Falling Sword will be picked up most of the time. But they will.
I mean, the interrupts is a big part of that ult. Just having that constant, like that amount of interrupts is really nice. So if you have a team where you need multiple interrupts, that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's gonna have that one issue where it's a skill shot.
It's a skill shot, but it's fast.
It's fast.
It's not that difficult to hit. I mean,
true.
You still need to line it up, but like you
still gotta keep.
It's not something you can dodge. It's not like a Stitcher, so you can't dodge it. Like if
but you can make 6 plays.
Yeah, you can make 6 plays. Like that's
make 6 plays.
Low enough to where you can cleanse.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
If the person's
still gonna bounce.
With that.
Does it still bounce if it gets cleansed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tested that?
This is just the way things work. So
Jake, have you tested that?
Look, you could see the confidence just draining away from his face.
Actually,
all right, so we're gonna talk about BlizzCon.
I'm running
More than likely, yes, it'll still bounce, but until you test it.
I think it all comes down to composition of Falling Sword or Blessed Shield, right? Like, if you're going for a super divey comp with her, which I don't think she really works out so well, I would go for Falling Sword, right? And then Blessed Shield only if you're going for peeling.
I don't know what Soldier's running on her, but Dread really likes Falling Sword. He said they both felt good.
I think they will both be used.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't like her that much.
Reliable. That's mostly why it's more popular so far. I mean, the more reliable ults usually get picked.
Yeah, you need a lot of coordination to make Blessed Shield work, and that's why I don't think until we get to the real competitive matches, we're not going to see it too much. But it will have its place. Like Kev said, it's going to be based on your composition and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
She really feels like old Muradin to me, though, where she's just super tanky, has a lot of health, but doesn't really do that much.
It's not a bad point, yeah.
Nah, she's good.
I don't think so.
At
least I'm not sold yet. Like in the games that I've seen, and I only played like 1 game with her, but the games that I've seen, I haven't really seen anything like that. I'm like, oh, okay, this could be a really good combo.
Nah, she's next level peel, dude.
Well, it goes back to what Corey said.
She's the best peeler in the game.
In the current meta, it'll be very rare to have her go to be picked, like very niche. But in the upcoming meta with 2 bans, where it's like, oh, they haven't picked a new Barak and we get a second ban. Well, now they're stuck with Johanna,
She's going to be really important.
Maybe next meta, when that ban comes through, yeah.
Because double ban meta is coming in about 2 weeks. Because Heroes of the Storm Road to BlizzCon qualifiers begin in just about, 10 days? 10 days from today.
Oh,
the Road to
jeez.
BlizzCon qualifiers start. So, call to action. You guys have exactly 1 week from right now to register to compete. I believe it's the afternoon of June 10th. is when registration will close for the first
we have to
qualifier.
Yeah,
I
that's
should
your
probably do
job.
that.
That's your job, Jared. As a manager,
Episode's manager should probably get on that,
I
huh?
probably should like get that sorted out, right? Okay, good.
Is there
Thanks,
any seating for the Open for based on past results, or is it just
I
completely
don't
flat?
think they have announced anything like that, so I'm not going to comment.
Okay, that could be scary if there's not.
I think we can
Tempo
say
C9M first round.
there is a lot of potential to host a lot of teams in this. Like the cap on the amount of teams that can go into this is insane. So like if you're even considering remotely being a team, do it. Just do it.
The pricing is like
Absurd.
crazy. I'm pretty sure they released the pricing.
It's 50,000,
They
I
released
think,
the
for North
prize pool
America.
distribution though per event.
I think
Last
it's
time was the number. It's 15, 25, or it's 15, 25, 35 or something like that.
For the prize pool for the event, so there's 3 qualifiers that all go into a regionals. Now this is North America. We're not. I mean, EU has its own format. It's very similar. It's like a league for Korea. It's different depending on the region, but we're talking NA right now. And there's June, July, and August for qualifiers. Now, like you mentioned, it's $15,000 for June. First place from the event advances to regionals. July, it's $25,000, and then first and second place advance to regionals. Now, one big thing to clarify: if you won the June event, you are still allowed to compete in July. It will just go to runner-up for regionals. So, say you win June, say you win July, you can win all the money, but second and third place will then advance to the road to BlizzCon.
Yeah, but what's the
And then
prize
we get-
distribution between each event?
Well, hold on, and then it's 35,000 for August, and then there will be the regionals, and of course August will have 2 teams advance also. And when we get to the regionals, it's 5 teams North America. There's one Southeast Asia. There's 1 Australia, New Zealand, and 1 Latin America. The prize distribution, I am looking to see if it's
Public yet.
there.
I mean, if we're talking 35K,
If it should all go to first place because we're going to win it, and I would prefer that. So
in reality, like the amount of money that's going to trickle down to even like top 8 is going to be very
Right.
significant compared to what we're seeing now. So,
Oh yeah.
that respect, sign your team up. Just get it done.
yeah,
trickle down economics, guys. It works," said
So
Reagan.
if you want to sign up for North America, go to esl.gg/BlizzHeroesNA. That will take you to the correct website. All the cups will be hosted there. All the information is listed at that site, esl.gg/BlizzHeroesNA. And I'm checking for pricing. My laptop's not the fastest, but
It's really
Over
crazy how fast like the events are coming now. I mean,
yeah.
for us, like for me as somebody who's been playing since like the beginning of SMG and all these, the Kings of the Storms and all the Go Fours and stuff like that, major events were like pretty spaced out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
now we're at this point.
That's a pretty cool tournament, man.
Yeah. Yes. But we're getting to the point now in the scene where like it's kind of becoming a different experience for players where like huge events are just like back to back. That's
Yeah.
a really weird thing. Like,
When I said it's going to get real busy,
Yeah,
it's going to get real busy over the next couple months. It's actually going to be.
Let me
insane.
tell you,
Probably-
as
probably
being-
events booked out like well through like September. I'm sure. Like it's going to get filled up really fast on the weekends.
like
So lots to play, lots to earn.
okay. So
trying
they
to
did
trying to
announce-
put down Titan arenas lately has been like looking for mines in a minefield, being like, can I put down that weekend? Then the next
Yeah.
like week I find out, oh okay, so that's booked. Okay, well how about no, that one's okay. We're gonna shift up. I think currently we're slated for June 20th, 27th. We tried to get June 6th to be Titan Arena for this month, and then there's the YouTube Mayhem thing that came up. Then
We'll talk about that.
BlizzCon, and then now Titan Arena is going to be on June 20th and 27th, or sorry, 27th and 28th. So it's like it's already starting to become like way too crowded. Well, not
Yeah,
way too crowded,
and for
but
the
like it's
schedule-wise.
becoming very packed.
This is an excellent problem to have.
This is an
Right.
amazing
This
problem
is
to
an
have.
excellent-
quality of our problems are increasing. That's for sure.
Yes.
They
Like
did
we already
announce the
mentioned.
distrib-
Yeah, here's the pricing. I just linked it in chat.
Yeah.
Before we talk about that really quick, like you guys talking about being busy, I'm gonna be here for 27 days before going home. Like that's so many days without Kubi's Kitty being in my
Jake turning into an angel? What happened?
You
guys see that?
The whitewash, yeah.
Goes all
White.
like
So all right, I just linked the pricing in the chat. It can all be found at esl.gg/BlizzHeroes.
So okay, it goes out to top 32 guys. Top
Yeah.
32
Now-
teams.
Oh my God.
Let's clarify. The blue, ninth place to 35th place, or 36th.
Second.
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 Most brackets are,
Four.
top 16,
Top,
32.
yeah, top 32.
If
Top
I can tell you about how
4.
brackets work, Jake. if you'd
73.
I
like.
thought you said 35, so I was
Hike.
confused. That's actually BattleNet money, but you can see it's a lot. Like 300 for one team. Then the next event you get 400.
Well, considering how
forgetting
much
ninth
money
place of
we've
tournament.
all spent on this game, like,
Right, but that's
You
like
can find
so
ways to-
much BattleNet money.
like
It's awesome.
so-
Yeah, you can buy
much
2.
money.
If you get 17th through 32nd, you can buy 2 mounts, man.
There we go. Production values. Got the
Wow.
pricing up on screen.
You can get that one. You can get that Wonder Billy. You can get that reindeer, and you're done. But at least you got them.
Yo, I bought that reindeer. Where's
Signed
my-
up, and you're good, man.
But yeah, we can see. All right, so the first event is $5,000 for first, 2,500 for second, 1,000 for third, fourth, and then 500 for the rest.
Oh.
Not bad. Top 8. If you make top 8, you basically if you qualify for the actual broadcast date, which is the week after, you're guaranteed $500 for your team, and then 800, and then 1,200, and then if you make it to regionals, you get at least $3,000 for your team, even if you don't win a single game. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome.
Hold on. I guess all the rules haven't been announced yet, but what this means to me is that Tempo Storm could enter in the June tournament, win all that, then go into the July tournament
Yeah.
as well. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Just making sure it's like what would be the good thing about winning in the June tournament if you can't do July or August if there's more money, but okay, that makes sense.
Money.
Right.
Yep.
No, I meant just in case it's like, oh, it's
I'm glad
solidified
they
our
did
place, so we shouldn't win the other ones.
Right,
Gotcha.
And then of course $40,000 for first at the regional finals. This is all really hype though. Like this is all happening in the next this is the next 4 months, starting next week. All of this happens.
Jake is becoming an angel again.
Yeah, and then 2 months after that, 200K for first. Right?
Yeah.
It's the scale up.
$200,000 for
It's
first place
insane.
at BlizzCon in November. Yeah,
Things are moving so fast, boys.
we
We're
real
little kids
sports now.
growing up. We feel like we're like the parents watching our kids go to college.
So
Little
much money.
boys growing up.
Yeah, it's gonna
So
be
much
interesting too to see like now that the game's released, what kind of new rosters we're gonna see.
Yeah, who comes
coming
out
out
of
the-
the woodwork now?
Yeah. Like, are we gonna? Is it gonna get to the point where there's gonna be some threats that are like at our level by the time like these like the July tournament comes around? You know, I'm interested. I want to see
I'm curious about viewer
how challenges
numbers.
we have.
I'm curious about where we're going to start seeing like viewer numbers start rocketing up to, because now we're fully released. Are we going to start seeing like a ton more people coming in?
We
Well,
broke
let's-
viewership records this last weekend.
Yeah, we did. 10,000, right? 10,
We broke
12,000?
11K.
11K.
Yeah.
Yeah, so WCA hit 11,000. That is the highest viewership for a broadcast. Last night, Voyboy was streaming Heroes during launch day. He hit like 15,000 viewers on his own. Like, the exposure levels are going way up right now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Damn.
Pretty,
And
pretty darn good.
the ads, man, everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my
They are going
God.
in with the marketing going.
I remember we were sitting in the hotel, like just flipping through channels or whatever, chilling after one night, and it's like one commercial break. There was 2 ads for HOTS. One was one of the Intel ads, and the other was like the straight up Heroes ad, and we were just like, damn.
So
We play this game.
I was told on the website that Infinite Crisis announced that they're going down was a ton of Heroes of the Storm ads covering the whole entire thing.
Laughed. So I was just like, okay,
Really?
they're just rubbing it in.
Dude, it was actually, like, it's sad as it is and mean as it is. One is born and when one dies, and the game announced it was going under the day that Heroes went live.
One is bored and one is alive. What?
Don't just let the Jake-isms go by.
Jackisms are back.
He's an
What
angel
just
now.
happened?
He's an angel.
Can I just get that quote?
One
over the
is
back
born
of
and
the
one has
scenery?
died or
Just-
something. I don't know what
One
happened.
is born and another is.
I'm gonna stop talking.
Yeah, that's,
If it don't broke,
no,
ain't
keep
fix
going.
it.
That's,
This is quality stuff, Jake. Keep it up.
Okay.
In other news,
Just gonna show my mini
speaking
Tabasco
of releases, Can we go into that topic?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
No,
Let's talk about that London event.
Road to BlizzCon still.
Oh, okay.
Bands, 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 bands.
The echo.
I'm watching him in the back. I'm watching him in
You should warn me before you do that so I can mute.
I want to talk about bands. People keep delaying.
All
Nick
right.
said Road to BlizzCon. We're at Road to BlizzCon, bro.
Okay, let's talk about bands. Go
about the
ham,
bands.
Jared.
Okay, so first of all, I just think it's hilarious that Blizzard refuses to well, they don't refuse. I mean, maybe you can call it refusing. They don't acknowledge the pro scene for so long. Suddenly, the ESPN Heroes of the Dorm thing goes so well. I'm like, oh, Heroes. Okay,
Esports.
it's a competitive. Oh, let's not look into it. I'll just go into 2 bands. Let's just jump straight into 2 bands. Screw what the scene's been doing for 9 months. 2 bands right out the gate, which I'm
course.
happy with, just because
So the way
I-
the pick
Teach
band
meta.
process is going to function is it's not going to be 2 bands at the start. It's a bit weird. And this is debate time. This is
this is where
just
Sway
good
gets
enough.
mad. It's not like a consistent format.
Debate.
Correct. Right? So it's going to be double bands
Let's go.
for the road to BlizzCon. Like you already mentioned. Ban, pick, and then pick, and then
I'm on the edge of my seat.
pick, and then ban. One team will have picked 3 heroes, while the other team has picked 2 heroes prior to the second bans. Is this balanced if one team gets 3 OP, the other doesn't?
I mean,
Yes and no.
So
But-
while we're doing these voices,
no.
I don't know, Jake. I think
Jared's gone.
I think that's how they do it in Dota, is it not?
So ideally,
I might
what
be
would
wrong.
happen?
Oh God.
Oh no! Oh no!
Hey, Jared.
Why is this happening to us?
Hi, Arthalon.
Is this?
What do you think about the new ban process, the new double ban?
Are you serious?
Okay, so I think, for one, I've never actually played a game where we did this style of draft, so I don't really know that much about like the deep strategy of this whole like mid pick phase banning. But I'm sure it's going to be really weird, like because you start a composition, right? You start designing composition, and then you don't have to deny pick stuff. You can just ban what the other team was to pick.
What's going to make it awesome? Right? So you can sort of try to read into what they're doing. It can make it really awesome or boring. Like that just means like everyone just picks Tassadar and Vala, all like the really neutral heroes early, and then the stuff comes out afterwards after the second set of bans.
Could be.
Ideally, the bans would go team 1 picks, pick, 1 pick instead of 2 at this point, and then you go into the second set of bans. Why they went this particular way, I'm not sure.
I guess to let both teams get a pair, but even then,
But even if you do like
That would be the advantage for being second pick, is that you get
Yeah.
a pair, but you also don't get the first pick, first ban. So like, that's what would make it even. In this case, you get the best of both worlds going first pick. It depends a lot on the meta and how like sometimes the meta is better for second pick, sometimes it's better for first.
You gotta
What
get
if it
those.
went-
You gotta get those few couple synergistic picks. The duos right off the bat.
Yeah. If you're banking a lot of your strategy on it, yeah, maybe that's how things will pan out.
I feel like.
But what do you guys think about if they did 1 pick, 2 pick, 2 pick, 1 pick, and then ban? That way it's 3 heroes in each side, bans come in, and then both teams do 2 pick, and it's done.
Every time you say one,
pick,
every time you do this, Jake, the 1 pick, 2 pick, I just like
Three
three
fish
pick,
four.
yeah, 3 fish 4. Sorry,
Go
continue.
Dr. Seuss on you guys. Did you say it was 1 pick before the bans start?
So the first 2 bans come out, and then it's So 1, 2, 2, 1, ban, 2, 2.
I imagine
So instead of having that 1 pick at the end of the draft, it happens before the second ban phase.
I imagine for the same reason they decided to go with 2 picks before the first or before the second ban, the same reason they wouldn't do that.
Well, that's
strategy.
similar to the Dota style, except
Yeah.
they go 1-1-1-1. Like that's what would be expected. Like that's what.
Oh, that's right. They
can't
do
even
that
think.
1 1 1 1 1. Yeah.
I can't even it's Dota goes 1 2 2 1, ban 1 1 1 1. That's what would be expected with mid tier ban, not what they're doing.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. This puts a lot of favor into first pick.
Like, how many times has Dreadnought put it on our show like a few weeks ago? Every time we hit Maelstrom, whoever got first pick for most of the games won that set.
So yeah, sometimes there's those weird micro metas where there's like one pick becomes like so much stronger that literally first pick like has a huge advantage.
Yeah.
But that's not really the case most of the time.
Oh, okay. So getting 3 heroes before anyone else gets any more makes more sense than that.
It's not ideal. There's got to be. I'm not sure.
You get 3 heroes, and then you get to ban out another, so they can't like.
There could be a lot of reasons why they went for this. Like time constraints could be one. Like.
What do you mean times constraints?
How does this change timing?
Swapping back and forth between the teams.
You literally just make it 1-2-2-1, and it's the same amount of swaps, right?
It is. It's no different. That 1 would be at the end of the draft otherwise. It just happens the 1.
No, because you end up splitting picks. That's what it comes down to. So you'd have a 1 pick, and then it goes into a ban, then it goes back to a 1 pick, and then it goes to 2. So like the fact of
after
splitting
the ban, it would be 2-2.
Then you just gave a team 3 picks in a row. Why would you do that?
What have you done?
No. Okay. So
What?
Yeah.
even if
think
Corey's
about
like
that.
weird
Think about
world where this is a thing is happening, time constraints is not a good thing to like be a reason. Like
It's not.
well,
I'm just trying to think
balance
from
the
their
draft.
perspective, like the reasons why this might be the case. That's that's honestly the only thing that I can come up with.
I know they're going for this whole like let's be different from like League and Dota thing, but
I wonder what they're going to be doing in terms of like production quality when it comes to pick ban.
Yeah.
Because like the more complex you make the system, the more you need to make it interesting and interactive and like a thing where it's like, because otherwise it's just like too much for people to like watch and deal with. I think when you get to this point where there's like mid-draft banning and somebody who just tunes in is just like wants to see what heroes were picked, they're just like, what the hell is going on?
And you
My
know
dad
what?
said it was really boring watching the drafting phase.
well, okay.
That's-
So if the draft is not the most fun thing, then like that's not an argument for making the draft stupid.
Okay, no, but
If
like
it takes way
okay,
longer and it's complicated.
So drafts is an interesting thing because for somebody who like the exposure they're trying to get for, obviously their target audience is somewhat people who just don't watch video games and esports normally. Like
Sports.
Thank you, Jake. Like because they're targeting these kind of people, it is a strange decision, right? Because the pick and ban, the more complex that system is, the more that pushes those people away. They're just like, this is just like weird. I don't understand it at all. Like there's nothing they can relate to at all. But at the same time, people who are in the esports, who get it, the game, who understand it, like a good drafting phase is really fun to watch. You want to see what kind of comps people are doing, what kind of comps are being denied, how close down to the wire picks get. I mean, that kind of thing is like fun. So now you've got this mix of like, who do you want to appease more?
Okay, but how does going 1-2-2 ban 2-1-1 make it more appeasing to the people that don't understand anything? That doesn't change anything for the people that don't get anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a strange decision.
No. What I believe KO's point is that if you make this longer, you make it more complicated, you're going to lose more viewers because of how complicated it's going to get.
You know what's
And it doesn't.
what-
I understand your point as well. Is that no one's going to be happy if you make it a bad drafting system as well. He's not commenting on the fact that this drafting system right now doesn't make sense. He's commenting on the fact that making a draft system more complicated, especially when it comes to production, is going to make it very hard to translate that to new viewers of this is something you should be excited about and interested in, instead of so much as, well, we got a bunch of things that are exploding and blowing up everywhere. And that's
Exactly.
what he's trying to
the
get.
League of Legends draft
That's
format
it.
where it's ban, picks. No mid-tier draft. Because that saves that's less confusing. A middle of the draft ban is more confusing than two bans, and then
Right.
drafting.
Being able to predict and read into what strategy they're trying to build is a fun thing to watch.
Yes, that makes things more complicated. Their
Yeah, it
argument
makes it
is
more
to make less
complicated, but-
complicated. Their argument right now is make it less complicated. Mid-tier drafts make it more complicated. I'm just counteracting that argument.
Hey,
Just
let's-
from a
hey,
point
while
of-
we're at it, why don't we take all the talents out of the game? Okay, just really simplify it. Okay,
Listen,
no
if you're
levels.
thinking like
Okay,
saying-
let's just make
Good
sure
point.
the
That's
game
it.
is real simple. Okay, so
straw
that everyone can enjoy
straw
it.
man to the extreme.
Oh,
I'm
Blizzard's
just
path, and
saying.
eventually we won't have talents at this point. Yeah.
Hey boys,
Yeah.
I think we lost half our audience. Let's keep going.
Actually, we
All right.
gained 20
combined
viewers.
it alone. Like, I was already kind of annoyed that they just kind of were like,
Okay.
let's go 2 bands out of the gate. But this
La-
is what?
Last point I just want to say about this, right, is that I think whatever they decide to do, like the exact stuff, I'm not too worried about that just yet. You know, whether it's going to be like 2-2 at the end or 1-1-1, whatever, 1-1-1-1-1. I'm going to stop there. But the point is that, like, for Heroes and what they're trying to do, like with their broadcast on ESPN, the average dude who just like turns on his TV or whatever, flipping through ESPN and sees this video game or whatever, if they're gonna make the draft phase and all that more complicated, I think they need to figure out a way to make it more interesting and just raise the production value and like make that more just like fun to watch in some way.
So what Kay was trying to say is, Blizzard, instead of spending $13 billion on advertising, take 1% of that and purchase Michael Bay's production values to make explosions during the middle of drafting.
It should just be insane, like the
Or
drafts.
cosplay suits that the players have to like suit up into when they pick.
Well, we already have enough problems with that Zoya trying to get into his goddamn Arthas fucking costume.
I can barely fit into my jersey. What do you want from me?
I mean,
Okay.
We need to make that a
they
thing.
need to find a way to like next level that part of the game. I mean, because everything else that Heroes of the Storm offers for a viewer is pretty much simplicity. Like it's easy to understand, like at face value. But the depth of the game is something that's really appealing to the more hardcore audience, which you want them to be interested too. Like that part's really fun. So I just think they have to find the right middle ground and the right way to do this to where it's entertaining to watch and you don't get lost in the draft forever. But at the same time, like it's still like has complexity to it that the hardcore audience will appreciate.
I'm
No
sure
one is
complexity will
arguing
always
that-
have a team, but let's talk more so about the fact that if you make the drafting more complex, if that makes the drafting longer, then we also start getting into a situation where the ratio of drafting to actual gameplay becomes more pronounced. And that
No
is an
one
issue.
is
Wait,
arguing about whether it's
Un momento.
about-
Un momento. Por favor.
Uh-oh.
Lose my
Senor.
damn mind.
My question,
All right,
or my
boys.
point is that in Dota 2, they can go for really complex drafts and they can go for really long drafting because their games are like 80 billion hours long. Heroes of the Storm, if you spend 15 minutes on drafting, guess what? You get a 15 to 20 minute game after that. And if it's like Tempo Storm back in the old days on Haunted Mines, you get a 6-minute game.
I
So
have
if
to
you
kind of
spend
agree
too
with
much-
you there, actually. I think like just because of how much shorter games are in this, it's like longer drafts. Yeah, it makes less and less sense.
No one from the beginning of this conversation has said that,
Yeah.
you know what, we need to make
I
it to
know.
where it's viewable for people. No one said that. The only point I've been arguing is that the system is stupid. Why are they letting one team pick 3 before the second bands and then the second team pick 2? I don't give a shit about the rest of the stuff. Let it be viewer appeasable. Let it be less complex. Sure. But why does one team pick 3 and the other team pick 2? Someone give me a reason for that, please. Because I'm freaking lost. Hello? Team? No.
It gives a team more of a chance to start building a composition rather than just picking random characters. And yeah, it does give them a big advantage. I agree. It's weird.
Yeah.
But then how does that...
Sorry, just take a drink of water. Take a deep breath.
No, I agree. Okay, so circling back to the original argument, I'm sorry, we did go off on a bit of a tangent there.
Yeah, we did.
It's a fun tangent.
That was a fun tangent. It's a good tangent to look at, though. That is an issue, and really, I really hope that they make a revision to those rules and they come back and they say that we're going to do something that's going to make it so it's going to be like 3 picks before the second set of bans or something, because this 5 picks and then more bans for the first. Yeah, I don't agree with it at all.
You know what makes more sense? Actually, how about you ban 2 at the start,
No.
draft out the full composition, and then
We're
you
repeating
ban
ourselves.
1-1 for the next game. You haven't even
Jared.
finished this first game, you ban the next game.
We're repeating ourselves so hard right now. So we are going to move on. And we're going to talk about the future, right? So we know Heroes, we know Road to BlizzCon. We're still on that topic.
Can I just interject one last point?
Oh, God.
It's not even a point. It's more of a story time, like funny
Wait,
thing.
boys,
Okay?
let's go to the future.
Let me just say, if they make draft more complicated, we're screwed because Dreadnought will lose his mind.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
They're not going to do that. They're not
Something
going
for
to
you
do
to know. We spent so much time working on our draft, you would blow your minds. Like, it was crazy. Okay. Zoya fell asleep 10 times during the draft talks. Like, so
It took like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Right. And the drafts will not get more complicated. Their design philosophy around the game is keeping it simple, and I guarantee you they'll do that. Don't worry about it. Let them figure that out.
Okay.
And
But
they're-
onwards
they're-
in the
Our job
future.
is to get worried.
Okay, let's go into the future where
What are we
Jake
talking
like,
about the
where you don't
future?
have a
We're going
bad
to the
draft.
future. We're going to
Yeah,
the
we're in
future.
the future where there's not a bad draft. Zoya's happy. We're good. Let's go, Jake.
All right, so one thing that we know, one thing that was announced about the future is something that's quite interesting. We have these BlizzCon events that are going to be happening pretty much once a month. The qualifiers come every month, about 3 weeks from the live event to a qualifier. At the same time, Dustin Browder tweeted out the fact that their new scheduled release, or their new hero release schedule, is every 3 weeks. And I can pretty much assure you that I'm assuring myself by hoping that Blizzard is smart and they actually release a hero just about right after a Road to BlizzCon event, so that there's about 3 weeks for you to train this new hero patch in each Road to BlizzCon event. So every event is going to have such a new flavor because when you add Johanna, it's going to shake things up, especially with double ban. Flaws with the ban system, sure. But double ban is going to change the meta drastically in itself for June with Johanna. And then there's just going to be more coming. Now, those are all facts. There's a lot of facts based on Blizzard saying those things are going to happen. But we're going to find out that hero, maybe, hopefully, because they said there's going to be announcements at an event that Kubi and I are doing this weekend.
So are you talking about the future or the event you guys are doing?
Well, it's a little bit
It's
of
in
both.
the
I kind of
future.
segued.
Okay,
This is laying the ground for the future, bro.
Well,
this is just really good for like just balance and meta in general because there won't be these long periods of time where suddenly they patch 100 things and everything goes out the window. There will be these small, like look at Johanna patch today. There was Johanna and a few little tweaks. That's what we should be expecting every time there's a new hero now. It won't be like we're releasing, Skeleton King, and then there's 600 other balance changes to towers and stuff that just like completely change how we play. Because there will be so frequent releases, there will be like more time for these small little tweaks that won't completely destroy the game, which is really good just for the game's healthiness.
Great.
Yeah, true. And with the additional bans,
Great!
as they do this too, you're just gonna have a lot more like of that thinking outside of the box type comps, which the meta doesn't have a whole lot of room to develop those kind of strategies right now, just because like the bans are so limited that like no matter what, you're still gonna get like plenty of OPs anyways. So people just kind of pick more standard stuff. But if they keep bringing in, like you said, a little bit more flavor for each Road to BlizzCon event, you've got more bans now. So now you've got to pick more outside of the box characters. You get your Sergeant Hammers, your Nazebos, they're coming.
Yes.
Kubi's so happy right now.
It's a great day.
Get your Sergeant Hammers. That's the nicest thing he's heard all week.
So, do we suspect, say we start getting into more of a heavy league operation in terms of Heroes of the Storm, we get something like a WCS, do we do what LCS does, in which they freeze patches for the actual league itself, so you don't have to deal with, on patch day type changes like what we dealt with for, what was it, the original WCA games?
Yeah.
Nah, just go
Oh
in.
god, the nightmares.
Just go in.
I mean, for online cups, there's no way to avoid that, but
Yeah.
hopefully if Blizzard's doing but that would have to be when it's actual LCS status where the players can go play at the studio.
It's way too early.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't
That's
think
true.
the community's there yet. When you consider that we run events in North America that might have 25 teams, how do you build a league on that?
Yeah, no, it was just like
It's
a
not
thought
cool,
in
it's too
terms
small.
of, yeah. I'm
not
just,
cool.
we're talking about the future, aren't we? We're talking about the goddamn future, so let's look at the future.
2 years from now, yes, Kevin.
2
Hopefully.
years
Future
from now?
Boys Gaming.
You think it's 2 years?
I think it's 2 years. Before we get anything
think it's
LCS
next year.
year, I think it's
gonna be
oh
next
man,
year.
Blizzard would have to move super quick for it to be next year.
You think so?
I think 2017 would be the earliest we see anything LCS year.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so we brought this up. We're going to talk about it more. The mayhem begins,
Saturday.
and I'm gonna segue back to
Okay.
the Nexus is calling
Is that the EU one?
Oh,
Oh,
talk.
oh,
That's the London event.
oh. That was...
How good was it? I watched none of it because I was getting ready for WCA.
Running around with his head cut off.
Yep. So I saw none of it.
I watched none of it either.
I'll tell you what Reddit said. They did not like it.
That's good.
They did
Didn't
not
like it.
They did not.
Yeah, man, that event
They were
really
upset.
got bad feedback.
They were very mad.
It was.
How funny is it that
page?
How funny is it that Trixler, the NA community manager, had a thread targeted at him?
Yeah, it was like Trixler.
The EU event sucked, bro.
What did you do, Trixler?
Like,
I saw that.
It was his
I
fault?
just, yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
it was all his
Trixler's fault?
fault, apparently. Yeah.
Trixler.
apparently, from what Reddit says, it's Trick's fault.
Trixler, why would you do that?
I don't know, man.
I did
Like-
laugh when I saw that.
Kevin and Corey, you guys watched it, right?
I watched.
I was at work.
I watched a good amount of it. I had like a half an hour meeting when Madion started, or maybe a little bit longer than a half an hour, and I came back and it was like, broadcast is over, and I was like, that broadcast just started. They like
Yeah,
they did a bunch of like random interviews. They had a whole bunch of like really cool 3D graphics, whatever. I didn't even pay attention to that stuff because I was just like, all right, well that's not key reviews, so I'll keep working on work. And then I looked back over and it was like, Madion's coming on. Yeah, get excited. And I was like, all right, Madion. I love Madion. Madion's great. And then they played Madion's intro song to his new album like 4 different times for 4 different videos. Then Madion started. He played the same goddamn song again.
Rip.
So I was like, okay, great. I haven't heard this one yet today in the last 5 seconds. They played that again, and then he just like broke down into like his normal set, but the sound levels were really weird, and it like nobody in the audience was hype at all. Nobody was dancing, nobody was moving. There was no crowd cheering or anything, which is like the only excitement you can get from watching like an electronic show that's live.
I think people were just like, "Where's the content?
Yeah.
We came here for heroes content, not to watch Madion."
Where's
And
Team
then-
Liquid versus Navi? What the hell is going on?
That's what we all expected. Like, we were dead sure that that's what was going to happen, but it just, I don't know if Blizzard marketed the event correctly.
Yeah,
I
that's. I think you're onto something.
I am going to say this, and it's probably somebody's gonna get upset, but I was like, I almost spent money to go to that event, and I'm kind of glad I didn't.
So
You're really glad. you
I'm
didn't.
really
Dude,
glad. I almost spent I almost dropped like $2K to go to that event.
Yo, I was going to
And
buy
yeah.
the tickets instead of my Surface. Yo, Surface, we boys. We bros, boys.
I mean,
That's
I love
right.
Madion.
That's right.
I would have great to see him, but I don't know how the sound was in venue. That would have been cool, but I don't know if I would spend that much money to go see Madion. I already saw
Legit
him.
Reddit and Twitch chat were saying things like the WCA finals should have been what the launch event was.
Yo,
Well,
the WCA finals
yeah,
were what was released for me. That was where I got excited.
Well, you can get excited again, boys, because the mayhem begins in a few days.
What does that mean, Jake?
It means that there's an event called The Mayhem Begins.
Oh my god.
What's happening?
I'm done.
And
What's
okay, so
going
it's
on?
a YouTube live stream. I don't know why they're streaming on YouTube a lot lately, but I can tell you why in this context. It's actually going to be held in one of YouTube's studios here in LA. That's kind of why I was originally staying out here longer. Kubi will be flying in a few days, and we're casting Cloud9 versus UC Berkeley, and then Low Expectations versus
Question mark.
another fake team.
Fake team?
Fake.
What the?
Fake team?
Esports Challenger. Okay, they're not a fake team.
Well,
Fake
hold
team.
on, hold on. Back it up. Back
Back
it
it
up
up,
a second.
yeah.
Are you saying that Jesse Cox's team that he has created, not Stellar Lotus, his team, are you saying they're a fake team?
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Wait,
heard me, Jesse
wow.
Cox.
All right.
That's two
Wow.
people on the show. Jesse
Wow,
Cox
guys.
now hates. Good
Ooh,
job,
Jesse
Jake.
Cox
Okay,
is gonna
no, no.
love this show.
Yeah, he already hates me. Now it's your turn, Jake.
You know what? I'm hyped.
2 down, 2 to go.
I'm
Corey,
hyped.
what are you gonna do?
I saw their games at BlizzCon. They were booty tier then.
Okay, that is out there. We can just soak that in.
You know what's funny? You got these really cool teams like Jesse Cox's team and whoever they're placing, and they're playing these
Yo,
fun
I'm
events.
bringing that. I'm bringing
So is
that
Jesse Cox actually playing? It's not Stellar Lotus?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
it's-
Oh.
Jesse
I'm bringing
Cox
that
actually
bias
playing,
into
but
my cast.
It's the
I'm gonna
it's
be
the
like
Blizz
Jesse
hold
Cox.
Cox.
on.
Low
WCA
expectations.
American Champions, Tempo Storm, are going to be at that event. Know how many games we're playing?
Yo, you're the ones driving out.
One,
I'm
two.
not playing anything.
Oh.
You're coming to hang out because it's a party.
It's
This
fine,
event.
man. I just want to get my
Hey,
dance
I'm
on
just trying to save face right now. Blizzard, why isn't Tempo Storm playing?
I'll tell you
Kyle
why.
just wants to
I'll
be
tell you
live
why. I'll tell you why. And it's
Because we
nervous.
RSVP'd late. That's why.
no.
I know why. Because we RSVP'd late, Corey.
No, That's not it.
Wow, best
That's not
manager, NA.
They're thinking Blizzard higher ups are like, all right, what's something really hype that we can do? That's not a tournament. Let's do a show match. Let's do a show match. Heroes of the Dorm winners. Oh, they haven't played against any of the competitive teams. Who's the best team in NA right now? Right now, when they made this decision, I'll tell you who it was. Cloud9. That's who it was. Not you guys. You guys are now have maybe taken. I don't even know if you can say that. Not yet, at least. It was Cloud9 Maelstrom at the time, so you can't get mad at them for that. I don't care when you RSVP'd. If they wanted you, they would have reached out to you.
They did reach out to us, but we responded late because we didn't think we were going to go until like.
Whoa, whoa, worst manager NA.
No, these guys didn't want to
This is
go.
a classic Zoya move here.
These guys didn't want to go. I wanted to go. I wanted to hang out with my bros.
I think it's
KO
kind
was like,
they're
do this shit.
pushing, like, they have some cool, stuff they're doing for the collegiate scene and everything. Like, let's represent the collegiate scene. Like, bring one of those teams out there, see how they stack up against a absolute top tier pro team, which is going to be a really cool thing to watch. I'm actually interested. So, I mean, I'm fine with it. We just had our match,
Man, I can't joke around with all my hosts turning on me anymore. This is mean. Corey, don't hate me. I love you.
Yeah, man.
Oh, it's cool.
So
I'm hyped for it. Like, it's cool that they're bringing Berkeley back. Like, they're flying Berkeley down.
Boys?
After like winning that huge event.
KO. That means you get to dance with Suppy.
Oh, baby. Yeah, man.
All right, so
Cool.
the Mayhem Begins has a few other things. They're going to be announcing or showing off some sneak peek, never before seen content that will soon be coming to the Nexus. So that could be skins, heroes, maps, who knows, mounts, could be
I will
all that
say,
stuff.
if you follow the competitive scene and are very closely tied into release of when these things are coming out, what's the next set of content that is coming out, and you were expecting that from the London event, pay attention Saturday. That's
What it is.
That's what I'm going to say.
Redemption.
Yeah, because watching C9M destroy Berkeley is going to be a sample.
Got a lot more in store.
They're gonna get destroyed. I mean, Berkeley is pretty good.
Yeah, they took games off us when we roll swap.
I'm gonna say this: Cloud9 does not have a good on or offline record, or at least the people who are on Cloud9, like
0%
Team
win.
Liquid,
0%
who then
win.
became Cloud9, and then I
You're
don't
right.
know.
It was
It was Team Liquid and all them at BlizzCon.
Caffeine and King Caffeine were on it at the time, so
And they threw hard.
Not gonna lie.
Right.
Looking at the games again today, I was like kind of just rewatching them again, and you could really see it in their body language when they were like throwing it over to the cameras at those teams. Like they kind of were really, really, really nervous, but it looked like tempo was a little bit more relaxed. Probably because like Zoya got them all drunk or something. I don't know.
Oh, we were in the zone.
in the zone.
Nuno does.
No, so
They were thrown off by Zuna. We already talked about that though.
Yeah.
Zuna's
we also-
booming missiles.
We also knew that if we beat them game 1, they would go back to their old habits. And what did they do? Game 2, they drafted Illidan. Game 3, they drafted Tychus Falstad. That's like old school 3 months ago drafting.
Anyway, so this weekend YouTube event
check it out.
content.
It's gonna be sick. It won't disappoint. I say that.
Yeah, we get to hang out with Cloakin and Trick and Anna.
And everyone
Madden.
There's
goes.
like everybody's gonna be there except
Yeah.
for
Tempo's
me.
coming. Maelstrom's gonna be
If
there.
you thought I was joking, we're actually going to be there. We're going to like hang
Yeah,
out.
they're driving. They're driving 6 hours to go.
So dedicated.
I think Jester's going. Like, there's gonna be mad people there. It's gonna be a lot of
I
fun.
want to be there.
Step it
Dude,
up.
when Tempo shows up, you know it's going to be a real party. That's all
It's
I'm
gonna
saying.
be a party.
I know now.
Oh, you know we go hard.
So,
Instead, this weekend, I'm casting EU stuff. We got Under the Storm #2, which should be, I think, Fridays or Saturdays games should be done by the time the Mayhem starts. So that's going to be
right, because it'll be
good
earlier.
alignment. Yeah.
Who are you
That's-
casting with, Kev?
Casted with Kaldor, actually, which is weird because I casted StarCraft 2 for quite a long time. I never casted with Kaldor before. So it's going to be interesting. I haven't casted with him before, so it's going to be an
shave your
interesting time. I should shave my head and grow
Out of
muscles.
respect. Out of respect.
I feel like in the middle of the
You
cast,
need-
he's
you
gonna
need to stand
randomly
up
just stop
for-
me and be like, "So, Sham 2, what's up with the arm thing going on? You got some sort of issue or something?" But yeah, it's good. I'm actually really excited. I haven't been able to cast like Team Liquid or any of the teams that are up there. It's gonna be 16 awesome teams this weekend, so pretty excited.
That's hype, man.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean,
When does it
15
happen? On
okay,
Saturday or
10
both
points.
days?
Well, I was supposed to cast Friday, but I have to work. I have to do
That's
that
the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Saturday, Sunday, it's gonna be both those days, and a lot of good teams coming out. SK's gonna lose. Just throwing that out there for all the SK people who are in chat. They're gonna lose.
Ouch.
Correct.
This is how you become Zoya, Kev. It starts with one joke, then another one because people laughed at it once, and then EU hates you.
And then they call you out on it every time there's a result and be like, look, you were wrong.
Yeah, that's my Twitter
Yeah.
feed. So anytime anyone does anything, it's like, look, Zoya, you're dumb. That's gonna be you in 3 months, Kev.
It's a
I don't know. Most of my
this way.
predictions are
Dark
normally right,
spiral.
unlike most people's. My predictions are normally pretty spot on, except for I guess I totally expected Tempo to lose that last.
Well, I don't make predictions. I just make statements that are factual.
God, you people are all of you. KO, you're all right. You guys are all the worst.
Yes, I'm all right. I'll take it.
The worst. All right, Jake. What's next?
He's
Cookie
eating
time.
his cookie. He's eating his cookie.
Is
Corey,
this
back
actually
off.
is this actually happening right now?
What kind of cookie is it?
Oh.
Chocolate chip.
God.
If it's DoubleTree,
Dude,
it's
okay,
chocolate chip.
You wanna know what's freaking lame?
Intermission.
At the ESL office when we got our lunch on the scrim day, the day before the broadcast, everyone got cookies in their lunches. Soldier had a chocolate chip one. I opened mine like, oh yeah, that's gonna be awesome. I got freaking raisin. Why did he get chocolate chip and I get raisin? What the hell is
I
that?
could go
man?
in so hard on this.
An event for gamers and they got raisin cookies? Come on. Off the ball on that one.
Josh gave me like a little bite. Wouldn't even trade with me.
Yeah. Duh. Why would you give somebody chocolate chip when they have raisin?
I can
Why would
guarantee
you
you.
even like plant that in there? Like I bet some like rude person at ESL was just like, I'm gonna take one of these and put raisin in it and watch the chaos explode.
Watch.
I would. I would give you a raisin cookie if I had a billion chocolate chip cookies any day. I would just
God.
constantly.
Oh.
If I had an endless supply of chocolate chip cookies, I would bake raisin cookies just to force them and give to you.
Sick, twisted bastard. God.
Yeah, what the hell,
That's messed up,
man?
bro.
The show just got dark. Jake, save us.
Yeah, let's talk about like cool things.
Games and stuff.
Games.
Did you guys hear about the
Games.
new 2 drafts? I mean, 2 bands?
Yeah, there's 2 bands now.
No.
Please.
Shut up.
Wait. Does it go? Does it go 1 + 1 + 2 + 1 + 1?
So Kubi, I've put you up. You are my white knight in a bicep battle versus biceps.
What the hell's happening?
Huh?
I don't know
Wait,
what's happening.
you
either.
organized this? I saw his
Yes,
biceps on the stream. They weren't that impressive.
Whoa!
And that's what I said to him. I said Kubi's gonna out bicep you. I'm
What
like
did you
East
say to
Coast
that?
over West Coast. That's actually this is a coastal battle now.
Yeah, what do you say to that?
He's like we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, let's do this.
We were at the Red Bull headquarters where there was a gym. He didn't even work out. How's this kid gonna get swole?
No
Bro.
dedication.
I don't even know. Yeah.
All I remember
Not there.
was Bicep saying, if Kubi's analytical skills is anything like his strength, this is going to be an easy
None of
fight.
these words came out of his mouth.
Okay, I can't.
Synthetic trash talk here. I like it.
You are so bad at
By the way, the burn had to be said.
Bicep battles.
It was a good try. It was a good try, Jared.
I like how you do it immediately. That wasn't him.
Kubi, you got some questions for us?
Yeah, I could do that.
Let's get some
Scoop
questions.
us-
I hope
Give us a
they're
question.
about ban system, because man, I could go on.
Yes, Jared, we are aware. We are aware
Hey, Jared.
of you and bands.
Take it away.
Yeah, Jared.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jared.
Hey,
Take it away.
you gotta do the dance with me.
No, I'm not doing the dance.
You have to.
Jared,
Dread.
your whole team. Your whole team.
Fred, get over here and do the Kubi's question
He's on
dance.
his camera.
What am I doing?
Kubi's question dance. Hold on.
I don't have the graphic.
Hold on.
I don't
Remember
have the
this dance?
graphic.
It's not the Money Pig one. It's the Kubi questions one.
Guys.
It's just shake back and forth real quick.
Someone help
Yeah.
You actually
Ready?
teach them this?
Yeah. Time for Kubi's question.
It's the same thing. That's the money pig dance.
It's faster though.
It's the most uncreative group ever.
Shut up. That's all we did.
But it's faster. I only know one dance in 2 speeds.
All right. Oh, that's fine. Actually, we got into this a little bit, so it might be a quick question today. But I want to talk a little bit more about warriors and
Dance school likes that.
and how they're fitting in to the meta, right? So it seems kind of like right now, the warriors that are being picked. Now, all right, actually, let me back it up a little bit. I would say you can classify warriors into 3 things right now: initiators, peelers, and bruisers. Okay, we have 1 bruiser. Maybe you could argue for Sonya, a couple other heroes. I don't know if you guys would classify anyone else as a bruiser right now that does enough damage to justify that.
Diablo.
No.
Stop.
I mean,
Yeah,
No,
actually,
KO.
no.
if you were going to classify it,
Flame Stomp Diablo is a bruiser.
Okay,
He's-
it's a
he
bruiser.
is a bruiser.
Technically, it's a bruiser, but it's bad.
No,
You're
this
a bad
feeds
bruiser.
into my point, so that's fine. All right, you can call Diablo bruiser if you want. Then what do we have? We have peelers. I would say maybe you could call Arthas a peeler. Maybe. Who else is? Chen?
Arden.
Johanna? Muradin I was kind of on the fence about because you can kind of do both with him. But for the most part... What is funny? What are you laughing about?
KO's laugh.
Oh.
I couldn't help but scoff at that.
Yeah.
All right. I feel as though the rest of the warriors that are being picked are initiators, and I think the initiation role is very strong right now. How do you guys feel this is? You agree?
I think if the warrior has the ability to initiate, he has the exact same ability to appeal. Like, I don't see the difference. Like, Arthas can initiate and he can peel, but it's going to be it's bad both ways. He's not good at either. Material can initiate, but he can peel as well with judgment. Like,
Whoa, hold on. I wouldn't say Arthas is bad at peeling. He's bad at initiating, but he's
Alright,
not
so
bad at peeling.
I say, all right, Arthas is good at peeling. Like, he's got a root in his kit, but the slow plus like that increasing his ability to body block, plus the ability like really extreme abilities to stay alive. I think that makes him.
look at the heroes you have to peel from, though. Like, Illidan, Arthas isn't going to slow down an Illidan. You know what's going to slow down an Illidan? A Muradin with stun, not with slows. A Muradin with stuns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Dude, Arthas might even just be like more of a bruiser these days. I mean, like,
Yeah,
he does a lot of damage. He doesn't really do that much in terms of like initiation. He doesn't do much at all in terms of initiation. But one thing he can
Not a
do,
good
you know, is like chase people down, keep them like around you in the fight. So
the point I was trying to get at is that initiation is not equal to peel.
okay,
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying that.
You keep your bananas away from Arthas, but otherwise you're good.
What?
And the baby was born and then rebirthed the next day. What the hell is going on?
And one was
Anyway, so
okay.
I have to agree. Yeah, peeling and initiating aren't the same thing.
Do you think Chen is a good initiator?
I didn't say they were the same thing. I said that you could do the same thing with either or.
Let's go.
All I heard is Johanna. Let's go.
All
Alright.
right, just had me look over the screen and he's got like.
But
most
the
of it
point that I'm
against-
really trying to get to is that peelers are bad, bruisers are bad, initiators are the best right now for the warrior class. Why is that? What needs to change? Do you agree with this statement? Go.
I don't know. I just flat out disagree with the statement. I mean, I think, I think you've got your really good initiators when it comes to needing like super bursts. So you got Tyrael. As far as peel, I mean, let's see what happens with Johanna, but she seems to fit that role better than anybody else. And you've got your more bruiser warriors. So I think there's a pretty good even spread of strength among the different genres.
Who's
of
a
tank.
good bruiser warrior right now?
I'd say Arthas. Like if the other team doesn't have, okay, I know it's weird, but like he does
Yeah,
a
you're
lot of
gonna have to
damage.
back this one up quite a bit here, KO.
Okay, he does a lot of damage, which is kind of like a bruiser's nature is to do like more damage than a classic tank,
Right.
and not be it.
This is why you guys run Arthas?
So we do sometimes, very rarely, but it happens.
We have played them in
Real quick, my point is just like
Okay, yeah.
if you're talking about bruiser warriors, I'd say like Arthas is probably the best example of it. Just because if the other team doesn't have like super high amounts of damage and stuff, Arthas can do a lot of damage throughout the fight. He kind of fills that bruiser role. I know it's a little weird to say, but yeah. So I think there's a pretty decent amount. As far as actual bruisers though, that are like squishy and not even in the same genre as tank, we're kind of really lacking. So like really all you have is like the Sonya, which is just like
Yeah.
not even good. So Sonya's bad. I mean,
I think the problem I have with the question is that you're trying to like. There's only one true initiating only thing, which is Tyr. When he had Kaz aside, he was a initiator / pill. But right now, he's like, you can defensively use Judgment, but for the most time, it's to kill someone. He's the only true one of those. For peelers, the only true one of those right now, I guess, would be Johanna. But Murden, he falls into both. He can eat. He's just as good as a new Barak.
I'm not at all saying that these heroes are only good for these things.
Well, you're saying the only good ones are initiators, but
they are initiators. I would say they're better at initiating than they are at peeling.
I think he's saying that initiating right now is way more important than bruisering.
Yeah. There's been a lot of like times we've lost games where our tank wasn't peeling, he was initiating.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at the top heroes, the top warriors in the game. Muradin and Anubarak. Pretty much everyone in their right mind would say they are the kings in terms of warriors right now. What do they excel at? Getting in, locking you down, full-on initiation, dwarf toss, stormbolt, burrow charge, or even just impale.
I think the two great things about both of those is that they've got ranged stuns more so than anything else.
Yeah.
I think it's not so much that they can go in because Anubarak. Sometimes you see it, but for the most part, they don't like burrow charge in Anubarak. It's normally just like they lay down the spikes or they lay down like a good stormbolt and lag somebody down and then slowly start like whittling away. Or when there's a perfect moment, they do it. But
why is Chen bad then? He's great. He's great at peeling, right? So,
but he doesn't have the stuns.
He doesn't have stuns or displacement.
The barrel is great for you can keep Illidan.
Yeah, but that's it.
What do you mean?
He doesn't have any ability.
You're saying he's not good at initiating? Is that the problem?
Un momento. Por favor. Breaking out the Spanish again. Chen, his CC all relies around his heroic. So if you pop his heroic, like that's it. Anubarak and Muradin, maybe you don't land that CC, maybe you don't land your spikes or your stormbolt. You can circle it back. You can lag out the fight a little bit. But if, like Chen, like that's your CC. That's your good displacement. That's your good stun. Is your heroic. You lose that, guess what? You're not going to be able to initiate. You're not going to be able to do anything there, buddy. That's why Chen sucks. And also because his trait is garbage and his whole energy thing sucks. But
even then, even back when Diablo was good, like, yeah, you look at Diablo and you think he's an initiator. Like, you know, when the Diablo trauma combos, there were so many times where we had to tell Glaurung, don't engage against this comp. We need you to peel for X. We need you to get this guy off of Vala. Like, if they're good at initiating, they're like just as valuable peeling, and they're going to be doing both the same amount.
Okay, but now we see a hero jumping in to the meta that is, I think a lot of us can say she's going to be excelling a lot more at peeling. And I know we talked about Johanna a little bit, but like, is there going to be a place for that where there is zero initiation capability? She's going to have some with Falling Sword, but I think a lot of us would argue she's the best at peeling. Is there a place for that? Where we have other heroes that are really good at peeling, their initiation isn't quite as good, and this is what makes them a bad warrior.
Yeah, I mean, there's the issue that you have where if you try to build a defensive comp a lot of times and you have the kind of like peeling tank, then the enemy team can just like easily walk away from you. I think you have to build a comp around like being able to force the fight in some way, or at least force the engagement, whether that's like through sieging or whatever you're trying to do. You have to have some way to start the fight. And so that has to come from somewhere else. You know, it doesn't come from the tank as naturally as it does for the initiators, and that can be an issue, yeah.
Okay, I was going to drive into that point, actually, is that do you guys think that peelers that don't have strong initiation tools should be sort of compensated in some way to help draw the enemy team to start the fight? Because if they're strictly good at peeling for their team, making sure that their backline is safe, they need to force the enemy team to engage into them, to make use of that kit. But if there's no incentive for the other team to ever go in, is that why peelers are just inherently bad right now?
Well, look at a composition that Kale brought up earlier. Kael'thas's Hammer. When you have that range of a flamethrower and you have Sergeant Hammer, you can siege for days, and there's no stopping it unless you hard engage onto them. That's a situation where a pure peeler like Johanna is going to have a chance.
That's a good point.
It's more of a niche pick that we brought up earlier, but it does have a place. It's not going to be like, you know, you're not going to see Johanna picked as much as Murden unless there's something we don't know about her, you know. But that's fine. Not every hero has to be that. That's
right.
That's the fun of having a huge hero pool. It's like, you never know when someone's randomly going to bust out a Gazlo, and it's like, what? But then you see it, and it's like, oh, okay. That's that niche pick.
And even then, like, the scary thing is that I think the peelers, or at least peeling in general right now, is in such a weird spot that even if you picked up, like, picking up that composition would be so hard to actually work around it, right? Like, getting all three of those put together without your opponent, like, noticing what you're going to do. It'd be scary, because the peeling right now that exists for all the other warriors is just, it's lackluster.
Yeah.
Maybe substitute like a Diablo for the Arthas if you don't get him or something like that, or the Johanna or something. I don't know. Or
But I feel like the priority on Peel is going to go up as the hero pool diversifies. Like right now, Peel is very good. You mentioned Hammer, you mentioned Kael'thas, you mentioned Jaina. Jaina doesn't even need it that much because she has so many slows. She has her own Peel. How many heroes desperately need that kind of Peel in the current meta? Because all of the heroes that we're seeing in competitive play have either mobility or options, right? There's a reason why we've seen Vala and Illidan and these heroes that exist for so long in the high tier meta. But with double ban, peeling could very much become more important.
Yeah. And there's the big trend nowadays too, where like a lot of comps are being built around the idea that you're flanking your opponent, and disengage and like peeling characters are really strong in those situations a lot of times because you can kind of like scout out the flank. You see that with Jaina most of the time. Like Jaina flanks are super scary and they can completely wreck your team. Just the Jaina alone. And if you scout that out and you have a tank that can immediately CC her, that's a huge advantage. So I think against those kind of comps, you could see a lot more picks of the peel type tank.
I almost feel like that's the incentive that they're going to get. I don't think they necessarily need this like incentive to be a peeler instead of an initiator. I think it's just going to come with the additional bans and the shifts of the meta. I actually do believe, call me crazy, that Arthas will have his place again, because when it starts to get a little bit more diverse in terms of the hero pool and a little bit crazier with the double bans, people are going to have to use that kind of stuff and figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, if you take away like a noob and Muradin, Arthas is not that bad of an option. You know what I mean? Like compared to the other tank pool, he's not bad.
You know what? You people will learn about Diablo soon
enough. He's dead.
EU doesn't run him. KR doesn't run him. China doesn't run him. Sure shit NA ain't gonna run him.
China because you guys all suck compared to the other regions.
And China's on that warrior hype right now, bro. They run any. They don't run Diablo.
So when y'all do the math, you come back and you talk to me, all right? Come back and talk to me.
Kevin will bring this up when there's been like 4 balance changes around.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, last question.
I'm not gonna jake it. I'm just gonna remain loyal.
All right, last question is about bruisers. We touched a little bit on the lack of bruisers in the pool right now for warriors. What do you guys define as a bruiser? Where do you think they should fit in? Should they be classified as a warrior? Do you think they should just be tankier assassins? How do you guys feel about the whole bruiser situation? Because right now I think probably Sonya is the only one that you might even call that. So
I mean, Chad has kind of been asking for this. Let's go through a couple of definitions real quick.
Yeah.
Peeling is when you put displacement or crowd control on somebody to stop them from getting from one place to another. It's generally just if, for example, you have an Illidan going into the middle of your team, you use stuns, etc. to stop that Illidan from getting to, say, your Jaina. That's called peeling.
Yep.
All right? Bruiser is a high health, low sustained DPS tank that can either go into the back line or, well, not low DPS, but like sustained DPS kind of person. Think if you ever played League of Legends, something like Mundo. That's generally the definition of bruiser. It's just high health or some sort of sustainability who's able to do a sustained amount of DPS as well. Am I correct in that? Everybody else agree?
That's what I'm pinging you guys. Everyone agrees with that. Jake, pay attention.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
He's staring at something. I don't know what he's staring, but he's staring at something.
How do you feel about what's a bruiser? What do you think? What do you call a bruiser?
It's essentially, like you said, high health pool, in your face. I don't know if they have to be sustained damage, but like different than an assassin. I expect a bruiser to be kind of, yes, either sustained or a little bit bursty, but not necessarily with a lot of mobility. Assassins, I tend to think of being a little bit more, have options, but a bruiser is just there in your face, and once they're in your face, they're kind of already there. If they've committed, they've committed.
If Sonya had a little more like health and survivability, that would be the definition of a bruiser and a character. Sonya makes a great bruiser on paper, right? But she's just too squishy to actually survive as that and be effective at all in that role. She's just way too squishy. She's like an assassin. She's paper thin. And if she did have more survivability and still offered that constant presence of like putting threat on carries and be in people's faces, that's when it would be a good bruiser.
Problem with that probably because of how insane healing is in this game compared to other MOBAs. There's no other MOBA where healing is this powerful and like shielding is this powerful. Other ones, your support players are mainly just peelers. They have like a small heal, but it's never anything like Rhaegar tier or like even Uther's heals. Those are insane compared to other MOBAs. So maybe the fact that heals can be that strong in this game kind of deters away from the standard bruiser effect, just because they can't kill a target fast enough because of heals and shields.
Heals and shields.
I don't know.
No, I agree. I agree.
Then she's just gonna be insane. Like, if that that would just be crazy. Like, I don't know how
Madness, boys.
I don't know how much you would have to buff her health to make her good yet not broken.
That's
true.
Brings up the age-old question: what do we do with Sonya and future heroes that we want to see fit into this category that is bruiser?
I think they do have to have just more survivability in general. Whether they're already classified as warriors, but like it's kind of silly. It's kind of silly that Sonya is classified as a warrior at all. Is she? She's not an assassin. Yeah. She's a warrior, right?
Yeah.
And she's definitely like not warrior tier health at all. So
I know how to fix Sonya. Give her Johanna's trait. If she can get,
oh no,
if you can't stop her while she's whirlwinding, she's actually an awesome, very good hero.
That would make her very good, Jake. That would make Sonya very good. Not wrong in this statement. At the same time, let's give her a second trait where she can cleanse any other hero, right?
Aslo, give him Gravel Bombs as D.
Number one, let's give her Storm Shield 2. Let's see what happens when we do that. Let's get real weird up here.
I thought it was so funny when everybody was originally saw Johanna. They're like, "That's a typo, right? Her passive's not correct. That can't be." There's no way.
It's so annoying.
Now that it's come out, everybody's like, passive sucks.
Yeah, this whole complaint we've had about cleanse being too strong, let's just give her a 4-second one, like.
But if you think about it though, like mostly you're just dumping damage into tanks anyways. You're not like, sometimes you're CCing them to like secure the kill or whatever, but most of the time tanks are just dying because you dump damage into them.
Unless so they're peel boys.
Yeah, thank you, Jake. But the point is like that looks so good on paper because if you applied that to Sonya, it would be like she'd be this unstoppable death monster. But in the hands of a low damage tank, it's like I'm immune to CC for a few seconds.
Yeah. What if at level 4 they were in place of Venom and just gave her like Divine Shield too? Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Next question.
Good discussion. Thanks, guys. You did all right. Just all right this time.
God.
Better answers than the create a team one.
Oh, shut up, Kubi. That was the dumbest question, NA.
Y'all failed that week.
Once we got past the whole once we got past the whole peeler versus initiator thing, that was a good question, Corey. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. Reddit questions. What are we doing?
Yeah, we can do Reddit questions.
Any good ones
there was a bunch of questions about Diablo. I don't know why, but
nope. Delete those.
Delete those.
What does it say to Diablo? Well, I think he's great, but everybody else thinks he sucks.
Hello, team.
Question 2: is it just me or is Johanna better than Diablo? She is.
Yes. Yep.
Hello? What's happening?
Everybody's asked about Diablo. I don't get it. And then a bunch of Johanna. Do you think
He's not joking. There's legit like 5 questions about Diablo in the comments. Why?
People want to believe, man.
Are these your Smurfs, Kev?
Oh, that's what it is.
Maybe.
Kev,
Smurf boys.
I don't know what to think now.
I know what to think.
I don't even know what to think because I can't even answer these questions without being
Okay,
like
this one's
fooling
kind of,
myself.
I kind of like just the funniness of this one. What do you think? Do you think Joanna Lily might be a thing now, like a perma-blind thing? That'd be hilarious.
Ooh.
And you also
There
throw
was-
in.
He takes interest.
You also throw in a Brightwing as well, so you throw a shield on anybody who starts taking auto attacks. But the thing is that this becomes the whole entire issue, and this is exactly what KO mentioned before, is that, great, we can minimize auto attacks by a lot, but what about actual mage damage?
Yeah, it really bugs me that there's nothing really in the game that addresses that at all, and it's all just like shut down ADs. Like AD Vala, good luck. Like everyone in the game, like 1W from Muradin, done. It's over. The fight's just gone.
Yeah.
Best thing we got is Spell Shield, and
Spell shield, but
even then, people just like poke it off with a Frostbolt, and then we'll re-engage
Right.
after. Like,
And I really like. I mean, Spell Shield is not like a proactive counter like some of these
Right.
things are. You know what I mean? Where it's like
activatable.
you get in there and you have to like apply a debuff or like put pressure on the right target, and it like there's a lot of characters in the game that can either go like into auto attack or into spell damage. So, you know, depending on what somebody chooses, there's more like mind games. There's more options. I just think it would be more interesting to have, but who knows? Who knows what kind of stuff they'll change if they'll do something like
Well,
that? I think
see,
it would be really cool.
You bring up a really good point again. Good job. That's the thing about Spell Shield is that there's one ability or one option that you have your entire game to minimize ability damage. But in terms of every other warrior, you have Imposing Presence, you have Block, you have just your general like health pool, then you have other people who have these, you know, you have Brightwing who's got her E, you've got these blinds from Lily and from Johanna. There's so many different ways that even if you say maybe this time I'm gonna, you know, not go for Imposing Presence, you have 4 other different abilities to block out auto attack damage. Whereas you only have one option, one tier, and only a few heroes that can take this spell shield to minimize spell damage. The only other one is Brightwing's E. You can pick up that level 4 ability, but then you're, you know, dodging out on Protective Shield.
You are not in that ability. That is booty ability.
Yeah, because Protective Shield is just always better.
Booty ability.
Now, let's talk spell shields.
Let us
specifically. What if a spell shield was inactivatable, 30-second cooldown, same deal, is activatable? Would it be how much? Yes, it adds depth because it's another button, but do you guys think that would be healthy for the game?
No.
It sounds like it would be pretty damn strong.
Yeah.
If it was an activatable that the character had. So it's not something that the team has to work together to do. It's just something that one person can activate themselves. But I'm sure like some variation of that would still be cool. Yeah, because like Spell Shield as it stands now, it's good if you're playing against like a really hard engage comp or whatever that you need to survive like a very, very quick amount of damage. But like for the most part, just to pick it up in general, it's not like a soft counter to mages. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm more looking for is like that Spell Shield is just a hard counter, right? It negates the Tyrael Falstad damage, but it doesn't just negate like mages doing sustained damage in a fight, like Kael Thoth damage and stuff like that. And it's so easy for it to get poked off of you and all that. But yeah, I mean that might be cool. That might be cool to just have it as an activatable.
the diversity in general would just be nice. Like if you look at Falstad for, like Zeratul will be a better example right now because normally Zeratul you do the spell builds, but in the Korea and China right now they've been going this auto attack style. That's two different styles. Falstad's the same way. You can go auto attack, you can go spell. You have a way to deny one with the anti-auto attacks. You don't have a way to deny the spell. It's like if you add that option, you know, like, and it gives you the ability to react to your opponent's builds more. You know, it just adds a lot more diversity to the game. It would be cool.
Yeah, it'd be crazy if they put silences in the game.
It feels like as if they came out with enough mages, like nobody would ever pick up DCs at this point. You know?
Yeah, and I think that's just the biggest issue is that there's no way to deal with mages, and even then you still have that soft counter. I feel like there should be more or less options against auto attacks that are a soft counter like Spell Shield, where you can kind of trigger it and then re-engage a couple of seconds later, something like that. Spell Shield is the only one that you can do that with, and even then, it's got counterplay, which is unlike what all the other options have.
It's too much of a hard counter thing. And if you think about the game right now, there's like not one character that plays around like AD that is actually like competitive and a character that is like commonly played. Every character now is like you either go the spell build or pretty much. I mean, Hammer I'd say is the closest.
Yeah. But even then,
Zerath will kind of with the new like focus attack.
Yeah,
build
that's
that
true.
KR.
But that's like burst. That's not. I mean, that's not really
That's
just
not
like.
true auto attack. It's one auto attack and then you're out. Yeah.
But there's literally no just like classic range carry in the game really that's considered viable. Who just like constantly is like hitting you and like moving around, and it's not about their cooldowns. It's more just about these like heavy auto attacks that come out.
Spacing.
EU, it has to be EU Sergeant Hammer. I mean, they're the only ones who really run them that much.
I would say that's
Zeratul. But even then, yeah, like EU Sergeant Hammer is the only one who's got sustained, and then look what happens at level 16. One person picks up Imposing Presence, and you're like, okay, well, guess why I won't do damage anymore. It's cool.
If that's the only character that we can come up with, and that's even sort of a stretch, that's a problem.
I mean, Illidan's really fallen off. He's seen so
Illidan's,
much.
the thing about Illidan too is most of his damage comes from his W. Like, it's not really about auto attacks with him. It's more about his like metamorphosis and constant W damage. His auto attacks are just important to reset cooldown.
Yeah. The only closest thing you get to that is just Tassadar was in an Archon form, but that's like only one of his states, But that is auto attack.
I mean, but
and like to what KO was saying, like you can just wait it out, and it's like no longer a threat.
Disengage.
So like he's talking about something that's like a constant poke positioning type of thing. Yeah, we don't really have that. You're right. We did at one point when Hammer was being played more, but there's nothing in comparison to that right now.
The day is dead.
Yeah. Soon with Joanna, I'm telling you right now.
Everyone gets homework. I want everyone to think of a hero that exists in the Blizzard franchise.
No.
That could be anti spellcaster.
Anti-mage.
Anti
I didn't really think deep for that.
Blizzard franchise.
A Sentry.
Anti-mage?
Anti-mage.
Wasn't yeah,
That's your homework for next week.
He's Dota, right?
Already
so
got
it's
one.
like a
Sentry.
Well, no,
weird-
it's not even Dota. That's
Hey, I'm gonna be that
anti-mages
meme
were
teacher.
in Warcraft 3.
That's
weren't
what
they?
I'm getting at.
Spellbreaker.
I win.
Spellbreakers.
I win
that's
homework
it.
assignment.
Spellbreakers.
Oh, that's what you're saying the whole time?
Oh,
What the hell's an
Spellbreakers,
anti-mage?
dude.
You mean Spellbreaker? What the hell's anti-mage?
Oh, are you talking about Spellbreakers?
Oh my god.
Hey guys, we talking about Spellbreakers?
Spellbreakers.
I'm gonna
Spellbreakers.
pistol whip the next person.
Hey, oh my God.
Next person says
Next
Spellbreaker.
question.
Please put
question.
Spellbreaker in the game.
Do a,
Hey,
like a real life ghost, like not Nova. Get EMP. Guess what? Caster's done. Jake, homework's done. I just answered 3 questions.
Somebody has 0 mana.
Loathab. All right, boys. Jared, tell me about the future.
Tell me about the future.
Story time with Jared.
What the hell's happening?
Tell me about the future with you.
Oh, we're talking about shoutouts. You're a weird guy, Jake. Yeah, so really cool news, guys. This Friday, unless something goes, like, it was supposed to launch today. We're delaying it till Friday. This Friday, the Tempest Storm section of the website that will have the Heroes of Storm guides will be live. We will have 1 to 2 guides from each player, 1 guide from me, and then people will be able to upload their guides. The guide system is awesome. The way you build it is just so cool, it's smooth, and it's very easy. So make sure you guys check for the announcement on Friday. It's going to be really, really cool. Big shout out to Tempest Storm and all of our sponsors, G2A, Namecheap, Twitch, and Funk. They are what provided this wonderful house for us, and hopefully we did them one solid by becoming the WCA North American champions this last weekend. I got a lot of casting coming up. Jake and I are going to be doing some stuff together during the week soon, and some other things that haven't been announced yet. So that's really cool. We'll be at the YouTuber event this weekend. Me being Templestorm minus Zuna. Zuna does, unfortunately will not be there, but it'll be the rest of the team. So if you're going to the YouTuber event or going to be in there, make sure you come and say hi. I have started streaming again recently. I'm going to be trying to do it for 3 to 4 hours every morning. Really early for West Coast people, but okay time for East Coast. So if you guys want to watch me stream, KO and I will be streaming pretty frequently in the morning. So if you guys are down for that, make sure. YouTube.com/TempleStormHeroes. I'll be releasing a vlog soon about the WCA experience, and the team uploads videos there as well.
Hooray!
All right, Kubi.
Oh, follow me at TempleSoy on Twitter.
Yo, chat is especially funny tonight. I just gotta shout out to Twitch chat.
Twitch chat's been great today.
Fantastic.
I see you.
All right, let's see. I've been streaming a little bit more, so follow me, twitch.tv/TheKubi, Twitter @TheKubi. Follow me, it would be very helpful. Yes, like Jared mentioned, and we've talked about during the show, going to be at the Mayhem Begins event. casting with Sir Jake. It's going to be a lot of fun if you were looking for a little bit more content released during the London launch event. We're going to have a lot more stuff, I can just say that. So check that out on Saturday. Aside from that, things are really going to be starting to heat up immediately afterwards. I think like the following week we have BlizzCon qualifier, so it's just going to get real crazy from here. That's it.
Mr. Shambam.
So I'm going to be casting Enter the Storm this weekend with Kaldor starting Saturday and ending Sunday. Got a lot of really awesome EU teams. It's been really fun casting all these qualifiers up to this because I have a little bit more like background in terms of history, in terms of how all these teams got here. And I've got Free Week coming out tonight. I was supposed to do it last night, but I ran into a couple of other things I had to go work on. So Free Week should be pushed out tonight. I'm trying to introduce a little bit more structure to it. I kind of failed this time because I just like put a whole bunch of notes down and like spoke a billion words a second. But coming up next, next week I'm gonna try and put like a little bit more of an intro section to talk about what's good about a hero, etc., who they work with. So check those out. That's youtube.com/sham2. If I get a spare moment this week, I'm going to actually put out Count to 5. I have a preliminary cut of it done, but I need to put more visual stuff into it. And
I believe in you. You can do it.
it's never going to happen. And
We won.
shoutouts to Jake String tonight.
Hey!
No, they're our stream.
What?
They're our stream.
They're our stream?
They said shoutouts to Jake's drink, Jake.
Jake's
Oh.
drink. Stay thirsty, my friend.
They stay thirsty.
Woo!
There we go.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, bro.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Zoe was talking about the website. That's going to be pretty awesome. We're going to have some really quality content on there. I would recommend skipping the Zoe guide, but everything else should be really good. Come stop by, say hi to me on the stream. I'm trying to get some sweet new emoticons and stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. You can follow me on Twitter at TempoKO. Other than that, thanks to our sponsors. I mean, they allow us to keep doing what we love and live it here. So it's been really awesome. Yeah. But that's it for me, guys.
KO, thank you for coming on. Appreciate
Woo!
it. Good to hear your insights on the
It's awesome
WCA
being here.
event. Jake, any other words of wisdom? What do you got for us? Thought it'd be good.
Yeah, shout outs to Twitch chat. Shout outs to my cup.
Empty.
Empty. We'll get that
For
fixed.
some reason, you can't find the bottom.
Shout outs to this hotel. Blizzard put me in a sweet hotel. I'm having a good time. Hanging out with Maelstrom a lot. There's a ton of fun meeting Maelstrom. A ton of fun meeting Tempo. We met at BlizzCon, but that was a year ago, and we really didn't know each other from online
6
that well
months.
yet.
6 months.
The relationships.
No, the future, KO. It's gone fast.
It was good. It was good. It was a fun time. Ray Daddy, awesome guy. Love Ray Nad. Fro Mommy, didn't get to see him enough, but he's pretty cool too. And the future is bright, my friends.
Speaking of the future, Jake, speaking of the future, 1 week from now, are we having an episode? Because we have the ESL playoffs starting that Wednesday.
So here's the plan, boys.
Tell us the plan, Jake.
Tell us the plan, Jake.
Tomorrow's Throwback City. We're gonna do it on Tuesday. Town
Tomorrow?
Hall Tuesday
Tomorrow?
next week. We go-
Tomorrow is Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen,
This is like
tomorrow
Christmas all
is
over.
now Tuesday.
Babies rebirthing into glowing stars. And
Extra people living, and
So next
The seed is
weeks-
strong.
weeks turn into
next Tuesday will be
days.
Town Hall. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Well, that's gonna be playoffs. You guys are saying stream all night. I'll find a way to stream all night if I get 4 subs. Good luck. 4 subs means I get Jake Face on Twitch. All right.
You can't.
Oh, man.
You can't. Okay.
I could stream a party with Maelstrom. That'd be so good. Where was I?
It's real weird.
Jake,
And then next weekend.
Jake,
Next
Jake,
weekend is
listen
gonna
to the
be
voice.
the-
Listen to the voice.
No, just let him go.
Keep it on
Let him-
track.
It's gonna be.
Let him do his thing.
It's gonna be the actual start of the BlizzCon Road to BlizzCon qualifiers next weekend. So actually, next week is crazy. 5 days of shows. I think I'm staying in California till the 22nd. So that's like 27 days here. More than that. Cat. I don't know where we are right now.
That's it for Town Hall of Heroes episode 66.
Wrap it up for Jake. There you go, guys.
Wrap it up, boys.
Yo, I need to see Dreadnought before I leave.
Dread,
Bring him over.
you're being summoned. It's important, dude. Jake needs to see you before he goes.
I need to see him to feel
Just
safe.
do it! Jake, Dredd, please!
I need to feel safe. Okay, I see him. Hi,
Stand.
Dread.
He's dying in his game for this. So.
Kev,
Zoya, take us out.
Kev, it's that episode 66. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
What's happening?
I don't know.
Please kill the stream.
Here.
I've never